guys, welcome to another episode of Tina's Tales and a Truth Telling Guest. I'm Tina, and today, after a long search for a Nepali young artist who isn't afraid to be vocal, I'm so pleased to share this conversation with none other than Kanti. Do you introduce yourself as Kanti Sunflower?
No, not anymore. No, I'm just Kanti. Yeah,
What happened?
Kanti sunflower.
Yeah.
I actually wrote a article about that and
Oh.
everything. So, yeah, it's I changed it because I feel with Kanti sunflower, people like expected me to make this kind of music, but I didn't want to be like boxed into just that. I wanted to be able to do anything I want, and like right now, I started like coming out with more electronic stuff, and I don't know if people who knew Kanti sunflower like that. So I want to just like get rid of it basically.
Cool. So now you're Kanti. Is that your real name too?
Yeah.
Okay. I like artists who own up their ethnic names.
Yeah, hell yeah, big up.
So as you can see, Kanti is not afraid to evolve with her own time, with her own pace, which I appreciate. And it's so hard to find Nepali young people to be fearless to express, but Kanti is so fearless to experiment and also just share her thoughts. It's been with the music, but also the way she communicates on Instagram. And we'll talk about all of that on this episode. But firstly, for those who may not know you, well, first of all, let me ask you, how was your reaction when I first asked you to join me in this Tina's Tales and a Truth Telling Guest?
I was so excited. Like, I love that you
Oh.
reached out to me. I think it's so special what you're doing, and like giving a platform for people to talk about it. That's really courageous yourself. Like, yeah.
Thank
it's
you.
amazing.
The aim is to just capture this fleeting and vast diaspora consciousness that we have in the minority communities, and hopefully you'll be able to appreciate and celebrate that. When did you come to the UK?
When I was like 5 or 4 years old, really young. So
Were you in
2000 and something.
Were you in Nepal before then?
Yeah, Nepal before then, and then I lived in an army base with dad.
In
Mum
the
and dad.
UK?
Yeah.
Cool. How was that?
It was lovely, but then it was like again our own community. It wasn't really like real life because it's like it was a gated
Building.
no gated area. Like it was literally like we had our own world. Like we had shops in there, like swimming pool. We had everything we needed, but then it was kind of cut out from outside, like so, and like soldiers would parade there, so you're not allowed to go in unless like you live there. So it was really safe. Like I'm happy about that, but it's kind of bizarre in a way because
Yeah.
it's like no, you can't share that. You don't share that feeling with anyone unless they lived it as well.
So it was very sheltered.
Yeah, so sheltered. Yeah.
Yeah. So where was this?
In Maidstone.
Okay, and that's where you mainly grew up in the UK. Interesting. And you're based in London now, right?
Yeah.
How are you finding it living in London?
I love
Away
it.
from Kent.
Kent, yeah. Big up Kent. I love London because
Yeah.
it's like so much freedom and you meet so many people like from everywhere and everyone's so passionate. Like in Kent, I feel like their dreams and ideas are so small. If you like tell them you want to do something, they don't really believe you or they just have very small ambitions,
Yeah.
which is fine, like, whatever makes people happy. But when I was working, I'd tell my bosses, like, I want to do music, and they'd be like, oh, like, that's cute. But in London, they're like, that's so cool, let me help you. Like, you want to do
Yeah.
music? I know a gig. And I'm like, like, I like that.
Oh, I'm so happy that you found that little space where people celebrate you.
Yeah.
I think because I grew up in in Greater London, and I think my thoughts and my experiences being around so diverse community who at most times celebrate any artistic like aspiration, and I think there's a clash when I talk to someone not from London, and I think their experiences being from a bit more whitewashed community is so different, and they're not always able to relate and empathize to like some racism that I'm exposed to in London, even though it's more diverse and super thin. Yeah. How do you think you would describe your music? Like you said, you've evolved from Kanti Samsao to Kanti.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would say very fluid, very whatever, because like I do everything by feeling. Like right now I'm working with two of my friends who are producers, and the songs we're making is like nothing like anything I've put out yet. It's like trap and like um I don't know, like unexpected, I guess. But I want that. I don't want any expectation or any like I can only make folk indie songs now. I don't want that. I want to make whatever I want. So I would say like right now the last EP I put out was like electronic, cyber theme, like but doesn't mean that's all I'll do, because before that it was like lo-fi beats and then before that just like my guitar. So I don't know, always evolving. That's how I
Yeah.
describe my music.
I think you're young and you're doing the good thing, the right thing by just experimenting with everything that comes along your ways and your ideas.
Yeah, I mean it's good, but sometimes I do wish I had a more defined like.
But maybe it'll come in time.
Yeah,
when it
that's
feels right
true.
to you.
That's true too. Yeah, yeah. I don't want. I guess like you once you try everything, then you know what one to go to. You know, like, then you're like, oh, actually, I like this
Yeah.
one more. I guess it's easier if you're like a cleaner image, because then you can sell yourself kind of like as a brand, like as an image as an artist. That's what I got to think about more. Because right now I'm like, I don't know,
Yeah.
I'm whatever.
But I think a lot of artists go through that. Like Snoop Dogg, who was
Did he?
Yeah.
Snoop Dogg went through that.
I mean, not
Like,
like
now he's
to
just
that vast.
stoner rapper.
But you know how we know him as a rapper, but then
Yeah.
he went to make gospel music after.
He makes gospel music now.
He has made a gospel album.
Wow,
So I think
I had no idea.
artists tend to be like following their intuition
Of
and
course.
just sharing their gifts
Yeah.
to communities that
And as
they
you
feel
change,
resonating
right?
to.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's so true.
And I wish you all the luck.
Thank you. Hell yeah.
So I know I've learned from you that you're studying music in uni.
Yeah.
How's that going for you?
I mean, first year I loved it. Like it was everything I needed, because I was working in a job. I was working like in Boots in retail for nearly 2 years, and I like hated it. I hated it so much, but I just didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't want to go straight to uni because I didn't know what I wanted to study. Didn't even know if I wanted to go to uni. But then I was making music all the time. So my sister was like, my parents were like, you got to go uni. So my sister was like, okay, you make music, like I think that's what you want to do. Because really, I was gonna study like film, maybe like directing, because I love that. Like I love film, but yeah. So yeah, like I loved it because it brought all these people who are creative and love music like near me, and we have the same passion. But then second year, it was like I just feel it could have been a 1 year course. Like I feel a lot of creative people feel that with like studying creative subjects. It's like a lot is independent, and you've got to like push yourself. You get so little from the course actually, except from the people. But I guess that's like a good part. Like
You get what you put in it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I don't enjoy it that much because I'm leaving for a year. So clearly it's like
You needed a break.
not just break, just like I just felt I learned everything I needed to. Like I don't feel I need it anymore. I go to lessons, but I'm just like spaced out really.
Okay. Do you think you're not gonna go back to finish your final year?
I might. Like, let's see how the year goes, you know what I mean? Like, no one knows what could happen in a year. I might be signed. Who knows?
Yeah, true that. Do you feel like I don't know if you have went through that, but do you feel like artists, like art students, like put so much pressure on themselves to be a certain standard?
I think it's really competitive field. Like, I think a lot of artists, they like compare themselves to other people a lot. So it's like, that in that sense, they put pressure on themselves, I feel. But I guess it's all individual, really, because I put pressure on myself, but, like, I don't know, I'm also
You're keeping it real.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you get support from your family and your parents to study music, which is considered quite unconventional?
Yeah, I mean my not from my parents, my sisters, yeah, but my parents were not like not supportive and not super supportive. They were just kind of like whatever, like it's whatever. Like I think they were just happy I was going to uni at that point. but it's not like they're not very involved. Like they don't understand a lot of things I'm doing. Like I literally toured in Asia, and they don't even know what that means. Like I'm telling them, and they're like, "That's cool." Like I got radio play, and they don't understand. Like how like genuinely that is quite a big thing.
Yeah.
But you know what? I don't know. I just feel very free because I stopped having expectations from them. Like I do it for myself, and I think that's so important. So many people live for other people, like especially Nepalese people. I've seen my friends give up their dreams because of their parents, you know, and like I think that's so sad because in the end, you're living for yourself. Like you gotta
Yeah.
do things for yourself.
You're right. I think you're quite brave to take that step to not care about
Yeah.
anybody else's expectations.
I mean, it came from my sisters, definitely. Their
Are they
encouragement.
similar?
No. They grew up so like confined and so restricted. I mean, not so because they all did creative things as well, but like I think because they didn't get that support growing up, they knew that I would need it, so they gave me so much.
That's so
And because
nice.
of yeah, and because of yeah, then like because of that, now I'm so free. And then we do that for our little sister as well. So it's like you learn, isn't it? Like as you go,
That's so nice of your sisters.
right? Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Without them, I don't know. I don't think I'd be as fearless.
Yeah. Do you feel like thanks to your sisters you were able to communicate this and they bridged the gap for you to pursue your
Yeah.
creativity?
Definitely.
But do you feel like you still struggle to communicate with your parents? Because I know
Yeah.
a lot of young diasporas, younger people, maybe even younger than us, are struggling to speak with their parents. Like, I think my stress when I was younger was daddy issues, just not being able to talk to my dad. And I remember just being so sad that he doesn't get to see like my goofy side, the bubbly side, because he's just stressing me out most of the time
I see.
for being to be a certain
Yeah.
student and then to
Yeah.
follow a certain route.
Yeah.
And well, I never really wanted to be like an artist like you, but I think a traditionalist parent most of the time give you stress
Yeah.
to give you, if not stress, then certain pressure
Yeah.
to just tick boxes and go from ABC.
Yeah. I mean, so wait, so did I feel what?
Do you still struggle to communicate with your
Communicate with my-
parents?
Yeah. Yes and no. I mean, now I think they're like learning to give me a lot more
Space.
not space. They've like my parents are a little bit different. Like I know that they really cut themselves out from Nepalese community. Like after we moved out of camp, they just like washed their hands with it. So they didn't care about like how they appear to other people. Like I think because of that a lot of my sense of freedom comes from there as well. But like so I didn't ever feel suffocated from them in that way, but like definitely struggled talking to my dad. Like I think that's super common. Like the dad's always like, but that's like a figure they have to put on too. You know what I mean? Like they have to kind of be like the strong, stoic man of the house, like able to take care of everything. So I just had a lot of empathy for him, like him going through that. Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. Like
You're so centered. I think that compassion for my dad only came about, I think, when I was like 19. But I think before then,
yeah,
bruh,
yeah,
my
me too.
journals
Yeah,
was full of
yeah,
venting.
definitely. I get so angry and I just write it all out. Like, Dad, why don't you understand? Make it so. Why don't you understand me?
Yeah, a release.
Yeah, but it like doesn't benefit you holding on to that. So I think I learned that again from my sisters because they've gone. I guess I'm very grateful that they're so much older than me. They're like one's nearly 30, so like having that is really good because like she just guided me the whole way. Like she knew I would go through this. Like she was like, "You gotta forgive Dad." When I was like 17, and then I was like, "Okay." Like I know back then I was like, "Nah." I was so stubborn, and I was like, "Nah." But I saw her do it, so then I think I was like,
Yeah, because I'm the youngest in my family.
"You are."
Yeah, and I have 3 older siblings. Yeah. And I think I don't recall any of my siblings giving me particular advice like you might have gotten, but I think they definitely like lead the example or in all of their personal way. But I think as a younger sibling, we definitely have the advantage of like to look at them, look at the journey, and
Yeah.
see what we can learn from them,
Yeah.
and to see what not to like repeat the same mistake,
Yeah, definitely.
which I actually definitely appreciate.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. What has been your musical inspiration over time, or has it evolved?
Yeah, it's evolved a lot. Like at the beginning, it was my sisters because they were in a band.
Oh.
Yeah, they were in a band, and I'd like always be like, "Oh, can I write songs with you guys?" But they'd be like, "Nah," because they're like 16, I'm 10. Obviously, they don't want to hang out with a 10-year-old, you know. So I'm like, "Let me write songs too," and they're like, "What is that?" But I think like they exposed me to a lot of good music, and then after that, like probably Tyler the Creator is my biggest inspiration. Like he started everything online, like the way he did that is just like so inspiring, and his attitude of like fuck everyone and I don't care, and like I just found that really inspirational. And yeah, like I don't know sound wise if I'd say he's my inspiration, but like definitely as an artist and as a person, like wow.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
I think on your previous EP that you released across the lockdown time, I think the visuals are quite it has references to like anime.
Yeah.
A lot of
yeah.
references with anime.
Yeah.
Yeah, how did that come about?
When I was younger, I loved anime and Japanese culture, but Japanese and Korean, like, I think we were all exposed to that, right? So, yeah, and then like, I was a bit of a shut-in. Like, I didn't really like talking to people, and I loved just watching cartoons all the time, and so being in quarantine really reminded me of that again. Like, it felt like I'd traveled back in time because like all I was doing was sitting and watching anime.
Yeah,
So I
isn't
think,
that cool how like movies,
Yeah.
visual arts do that?
yeah,
And then,
yeah,
but
for
then you
real.
see like different part of you in there.
Yeah, it's so true, eh?
Yeah.
That's so true. Yeah, so yeah, I think yeah, it felt really good.
It's so interesting that you said that clip.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting that you said that you watched animes and K-dramas
Yeah,
and
yeah,
K-pop.
yeah, K-pop, yeah.
I think I didn't watch as much anime.
Mm.
I watched like few, but I definitely watched a lot of K-drama and K-pop, and I think it also like influenced my language, my relationship with language, because I picked up Korean.
Is it? Oh, so you learned Korean?
I wouldn't say I learned it fully, but you know when you start picking up Korean.
Unima. Yeah, of course. You just use like some phrases. Yeah, I always say Korean phrases every now and then. Like.
Yeah, because you know how you also said it's quite common for Nepali people to be part of this Hallyu movement and K-pop and K-drama, and I definitely found myself picking up Korean, trying to look like those Korean women.
No. Did you feel like pressure of that standard of beauty? Because like we're so different looking. Like I know from tan skin and stuff, you know, like looking at Korean women, you want to be like that. You know?
I think to be honest, I only realized like how K-drama affected me during the lockdown, like I told you over the phone call, because we spoke on the phone just to prepare for this interview, and I learned I had a quite a long time to reflect, and I learned that I think K-pop was like a void that I was trying to fill that I didn't get from my motherland, like Nepal's representation, who didn't represent someone who looked like me.
That was the only representation we had, really. I was saying that to my friends as well, because I was showing them like 21's old music, and I was like, we didn't have any girl groups like this. This was our representation, and it's like crazy how like they're not as like thing in pop, in music world, especially like if you think they were probably more influential than some of the girl groups that have been out now. You know what I mean? Like in Western
to me
world.
21
was everything.
Are my idols.
Isn't it?
I used to dream literally. I'm saying this literally. I used to dream of them, and I used to want to be like them. They represented strength, and they just represented variety of women. Like I guess then I was a girl then.
Mm.
I was a young girl then, but
Mm.
they just represented this oozing something I'd never
Power.
seen.
Yeah. Especially
Yeah.
like with our face as well.
Yeah, because there was Park Bom, who was the feminine type.
Yeah.
I mean, she's turning a bit into plastic now, which is a
Yeah.
different story.
Yeah.
But
But,
CL,
yeah, with
it's just
everything.
power to me.
For real.
And it was so powerful that I didn't grasp that was so monumental beyond my skin. Yeah, and thank you to anyone.
Shout out 21.
Yeah.
Shout out 21.
Yeah, and just like you said, you watch anime. I think I still, when I feel down, when I listen to anyone to just like pump me up.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, and yeah, I respect them a lot, and yeah, and I think one of my life's biggest regret is to not being able to see them live. But who am I to cry over it? Like I was quite young then, and there was no way I could afford to see them live.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, they will definitely have a special place
Right,
in
I
my
cried
heart.
when they broke up, when they released the goodbye.
When they
It was so
came on the
sad.
IG live, when
They
they
came
had
on a
like
live.
because they have like the
didn't know that.
21 anniversary date.
Aww.
Oh my god, I was in tears because they're like my little K-pop Beyonces.
Yeah, K-pop Beyonce.
Yeah. Ugh, it's very touchy.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely my feels. But I think it's cool how you use anime, going back to your visual inspiration and implications. Because you know, like the Asian aesthetics are kind of appropriated
they're coming back now
to mad level by
Western
artists.
And it's not talked about. It's not like I don't know.
Yeah. But I'm happy that you're using it for your own power.
Thank you.
Talking about music and activism, you crafted or you created a little online gig of artists and
in
poets.
quarantine.
For BLM movement. Which if you're an alien and you don't know what BLM is, it was a Black Lives
Matter.
Black Lives Matter movement. And Kanti created an online gig, which is super, I think.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think it's super that you use art as an instrument to move people and to fundraise for important cause and to just stand in solidarity with fellow minority groups.
Of course.
Why was it important for you to support BLM?
And I've always connected with Black culture and Black people. Like most of my closest friends are Black. I don't really have a lot of British friends actually, like British, like white, basically. I don't have a lot of white friends. But like I think like for our representations quite similar in like the way they were raised and their parents and the thing of like being foreign and being in another country. Obviously like we don't experience the same amount of racism or like in the same way or anything, but like they were what I had to look up to basically growing up. So I think it's really important to like stay educated and supportive in that, because you can't just take so much from a culture and not give back, you know what I mean?
Preach.
Yeah, so I just thought it was important. And also like all my friends like wanted to make something as well, like we wanted to do something, so I was just like, let's just do this, like it just makes sense. And we were in quarantine, so like we couldn't go outside and do it like live, so like we just used what we could, which was Twitch, and so it was really good and really happy about it, and like everyone involved, and it was great.
That's beautiful. Were you surprised by the turnout?
Of course, man. Like during the live, I'm like and it was 24 hours, so I was awake the whole time. I was so dead by the end of it, but like it was so touching, and the fact people donated like so much, and we even raised that like just from an idea, like that was very inspiring and motivating. Like made me want to do more things. Like,
that's awesome. That's why we're alive, man. To make a difference.
Facts.
And to anyone out there, because I was kind of scared to even start this little segment, this series. It's really, really wholesome inside. It's so magical when a little idea that if you actually push forward and take actions, when it comes to life, it's your little baby. And
how did you have this idea? Like why like
this idea was, of course, as minorities, we have so little representation. But my aim to start off was to capture like different diaspora consciousness. Because just like you and I, we're both Nepali and young, but your thought state of mind could be different to certain ideas,
Of course.
whereas mine. And I think it's time where we all come together to listen.
Yeah.
And although you might disagree because of whatever reason, at least take time to listen, empathize, because we need all bigger room to be open for more empathy. And I just want to strive and protest for more representation of diaspora and the minorities, really.
I love that.
And it was definitely hard
Yeah.
to bring it together. There was ups and downs, but it's just so sweet when like even your logo comes to life.
Yeah. That's so true.
It's definitely so
I know
moving.
the feeling, for real.
And when the whole community comes together
Yeah.
for this shoot, it's so moving.
Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah. And I'm so happy that you took the initiative to organize the BLM
Thank you.
online gig. Because I think, in my perspective, similar to you, my closest friends, most of them are minorities, ethnic minorities in the UK, and I think we just ended up being this little circle because we have similarities as minorities. I think with the same-ish level of privileges that we had and the similar growing up with the parental state of thought, but also just to our perspectives in life with how we want to constantly upskill. And I think Black community are the first to pave the way for how much protest we can do for change. And I think Nepali community, we're little. We're like a piece of grain that is not even recognized in the media.
Yeah, that is so true.
In the
Because
UK.
there's so many of us here, like in
Yeah.
UK, because of Gurkhas, basically, right? But yet, still nobody really knows that. Like my friends are so surprised that there's such a huge. Because even the gig I did the other day, it was run by a Nepalese guy, and then like we were talking about similar kind of things. And my friend who's playing guitar for me, he's from Iceland, and he was like, "What? Like you guys have like a huge community of Nepalese people in UK?" I was like, "Yeah, there's like anywhere you go, there'll be one Nepalese person. You know?
Yeah.
Like,
It's about time that we
do
open up.
something. Yeah, talk about it.
It's about time that we open up our conversations with other minorities, also learn from them, then just stay close knitted to Nepali, but of course respect your culture and where you come from too, in my opinion. So following on from that, what do you think is a relationship with Nepalipan and Britishness?
Oh yeah, my relationship. Well, I felt I didn't belong in either. Like I'm not super Nepalese. I mean, like I always felt. I told you, like my Nepalese friends in Kent, we were all kind of like don't fit in with Nepalese people, but then we also don't really fit in with British people because the way we look and our upbringing is so different. So we became our own thing, like neither in either. so yeah, like it's sad because I wish there was so much about Nepal I knew, but that's why like I want to go back. But I'm like very grateful because I love UK as well. Like it's a part of me really. Like I think I struggled a lot being like, am I from Nepal or UK? Because like all my life I lived here basically. Like I didn't go to school in Nepal. I don't really know Nepalese people there, like other than family. But I don't know, like I think I fought with that a lot, but now I'm happy I'm both. Like Tyler, the creator, he was also kind of similar in this. He's even got a lyric, it's like too black for the white kids, too white for the black. And that's like how I felt basically. Like too white for Nepalese people, but too Nepalese for white people.
Yeah, I think it's quite common to feel like that.
Yeah.
And I think because I've been reading so much about the Gurkhas, because I was writing an article about Gurkhas and reading so much about the Gurkhas and the whole colonial construct of Gurkhas that is not recognized, because many times we think Gurkhas as the bravest of the brave brothers that we never had.
The British word always changing. Yeah, the bravest.
Yeah, I think it's often romanticized, and I think it sugarcoats the colonial.
aspects
ways,
beneath it,
yeah,
like where it's
which
actually
is
coming
so
from.
deep.
Yeah,
It's so layered.
yeah, that's so true.
And I think there's so many of us who, like you and me, I've now lost my skill to write Nepali. It's because we're told English is the way and the only way,
That's so true, right? Yeah, that's so true.
and we're losing our linguistic powers.
Yeah, definitely.
And eventually, we might lose this down our lines to our
I
generation,
know,
which is
so sad.
upsetting.
Of course.
And although a lot of us fantasize that it's like a great utopian escape that we found coming to the UK, I
Yeah.
think we must not forget it's a colonial way of removing people
Yeah.
from their motherland
Oh, yeah,
and
that's
to
so
oppress
true.
them
That's so true. That's
from
so true.
growing. And I really think we need more people to relearn
Yeah, definitely.
some of these histories, because
And
I have friends who are campaigning for more Black history, like put into the British curriculum, and there's so much we can learn from them that we must also campaign for our representation for people who might settle in the Britain.
Our own, yeah, that's so true. That's very true.
And yeah,
Because I didn't know like all this colonialism stuff behind it. I didn't. I knew that it was something wrong. Like I knew it was a way of control, like especially against Nepalese people, but. And because of how bad Gurkha's pensions are, like my dad's literally fighting for a better pension. Like they get paid nothing compared to British soldiers, which I think is a bit, like fuck.
it's systemic.
Yeah.
I think it's just been such a journey for me to learn about it, and to write about it was a different struggle.
What did you learn in uni?
I went to Stovas to learn. Actually, my major was economics, but we could choose like different modules, and one of my modules was society, culture, and politics in Nepal, which was an eye-opening module. Although learning from it from a white professor was something else about Nepal. But I think it was definitely like a turning point in my life for me to dig deeper and look inside about where I am as a diaspora. And sis, you just wait until you read my article, yeah? Once I finally find that courage to share.
I can't wait. I think it'd be great. Yeah.
Thank you. It's been a struggle to write from a personal account, because writing about your own ancestors' tale of oppression is difficult to validate and put into words than I imagined. And yeah, because you're also a Cancer, right? And I'm a Cancer, and I'm unfortunately, I don't want to say unfortunately, but sometimes, to a fault, I am fixated to my emotions, which I need to be more agile about.
It can be a strength. Like for me, it's a strength to be able to like be emotionally connected.
I think one of my friends told me to just cry during the lockdown, and I implemented it, and I started to cry, but I ended up crying too much. I had to get a grip. So I'm at a point that I need to get a grip and take charge. Before we end the conversation, I definitely want to talk about Instagram.
Okay.
Because I don't know about you, but Instagram is the app that I use the most.
Yeah.
Is it the same for you?
Yeah, it's like the only app I have on my phone.
Really?
Yeah, that and like a bike app. That's it.
Do you ride a bike?
Yeah, I love riding bikes.
Oh, cool. Because Instagram is definitely like the interface that I'm in front of the most.
Yeah.
And I'm amazed by your courage. Although I'm a bit...
Because like privated stuff.
Yeah, although...
Yeah.
And we'll talk about that too. I remember this was before I spoke to you over the phone and got to know you more, that you posted about super vulnerable, raw stuff and context that a lot of people don't write about. Stuff about parents not supporting you to be pursuing music, but also suicidal thoughts, which I thought was more power to you. Although some people might read it as a weakness, which I don't think they should, because it's happened to me too. Because I think I started getting frustrated with the whole highlight reels that people post on Instagram. and I just thought it was a bit sickening to my stomach
Oh.
when it's so like perfectly angular pictures
Mm.
going to some certain like restaurants,
Events.
like
Yeah.
just getting like stuff done in life
Mm.
to kind of impress people
Yeah,
that you've
you're not
done.
living for yourself. You're living to like show off or like for approval.
But I think there is a clear line because some people are
course.
working hard for it and they should
Yeah.
deserve it. They should
Mm.
deserve getting that meal in that shard that they worked hard for.
I see.
Do you get what I mean? There is like some authenticity there, and I guess people are always going to talk about it in certain way that they only have the perception of. But I think because I started to talk about like hair loss and stress, it like 2 years ago now, which sounds bizarre, because I was just so stressed in my final year trying to sort out what I want to do in my life.
You were losing hair.
Yeah,
Wow.
my hair is so I think so aligned to my spirit. If I'm stressed, and my hair and my skin, if I'm stressed, I get breakouts and I also lose hair. I can't sleep. I think everything is aligned in my life. But when I started to talk about hair loss and then eventually started talking about like Nepali people not being receptive to casteism, racism, and I think few like guys, older brothers started to say like, "Oh, Bunny, you're a good person, but I think you're hurt." I think a lot of like people saw it as a weakness rather than like a strength to
Yeah,
like
I mean,
post
I
some
get,
authenticity.
yeah,
You know
that's
what I
so
mean?
true. Of course, like I used to worry about that too. Like, how does this make me seem? Like, how will people take this? But the truth is, like, everyone has problems and everyone feels something. People are just like told not to speak about it, or like I think that's more of a weakness. That's like you pretending that you're okay, but you're not. You know what I mean? I think there's power in being like, I have problems. So what? So do you? Like, we all do.
Let's normalize it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think let's I mean, of course we're afraid because of judgment. Like we're afraid of being judged basically, isn't it? Like but like if you stop judging people, then people like you don't care basically. Like I try to withhold from judgment as much as I can. Like if I catch myself judging someone, I'm like stop that. Like I don't want to be judged, so why would I judge them, you know? And I think if everyone did that, we'd just be empathetic with everyone. Like it wouldn't being open wouldn't be a problem. It would just be like it's human, you know?
Yeah. Do you remember that when was the first time you posted like a vulnerable post on?
Well, my whole
Instagrams?
like most of my life's been online, like which is kind of mad. Like I've shared so much throughout my whole life, like even stuff about my ex. Like there was a whole drama with that, and then like I don't know, like I guess because of that experience, I just stopped caring. And also, I share music, and that's probably my most vulnerable thing. So, like, it's just an extension of that. When I started, maybe like when I was like 14,
Wow.
or maybe even younger, I don't know, like just talking to myself on camera or something.
Do you feel like, you know, when you post something just raw
Yeah.
and maybe unconventional at the time, like maybe suicidal thoughts, do you do you do you also feel like a heavy heart like after you post it? Like, are people gonna see this with the right lens?
I mean, you can't control how people view things. Like their perception is their own. You can't explain to someone this is where I'm coming from. Like they'll take it however they're meant to. Just as like all you can control is how you view yourself. So I'll just view myself as a good person, and I try not to think about that. But obviously, I do get anxious like before sharing stuff. Like especially with the recent one, I shared like a video. I was in like a really hard spot. Like literally had no job, like in the pandemic, going through a breakup, lost so much money because I went to Asia and like had to buy another ticket because of Corona and all this. And literally, I was like, whoa. So I made this short film about like, I'd written a letter to 30-year-old me. And I just recorded what I said and stuff. That one I was really anxious about sharing because it was like so personal. But like once I did it, it feels so free, really. Like it feels powerful, and like people talk to you like, oh, thank you for sharing that. Like I went through something similar, and then you start seeing, you know, like everyone really does feel things. They're just too afraid to say it. We shouldn't be, you know.
More power to you.
Thank
I
you.
think in reality, in my experience, I think you definitely feel some anxiety. I
Of
personally
course.
feel anxiety for like at least 2 nights.
Really? Wow. Yeah. I mean,
And
I'll still feel anxious about it now. I'll still think and be like, should I take it down? Like that's
Yeah.
probably why I privated all my photos. Or,
yeah, and I was gonna talk about archiving because it seems to be like a common practice
Yeah.
with Instagrammers to
Yeah.
archive.
Once they made that feature, archive everything.
Why do you think people want to archive and filter their posts?
I think we're really aware of the fact it's like a very what's it called? What's it called when you like
Judgmental?
no like catered? No. Like when you have art, right? When you're showing art, what's the person called?
Artist.
No. I forgot it begins with C, I think. But anyway, it's a very like created image, basically.
Curated?
That's the art creator. Yeah. It's a very curated
Yeah.
image, and that's why I think, like we all know that, like we're aware because we take pictures for it to look pretty and look cool, right? But we know we're not like that really, or like So I think people fight with that a lot. I mean, I do definitely. But then if you use it in a creative way, like I think it can be very powerful as well. Like it's what people want from it, isn't it? And what they're trying to put out.
Do you listen to podcasts?
Yeah.
Have you heard like any conversations about Instagram?
No, not really.
I feel like this is not spoken about.
And
And I feel like it's so common.
Yeah, that's so true.
I will just wake up one day like admiring someone's post and next day will be gone.
Ah, really?
Yeah.
That's so funny. I never thought about like what other people would think if I'm archiving stuff. Like, because maybe they're like, is she okay? But I don't really deep it. I'm just like, I don't want that there anymore.
Yeah. Because I think when I archive
Posts.
Yeah, archive posts, although I try not to do as much, I think it's because I want my Instagram to reflect in real terms, in real cycle.
Wow. So it's like a chapter of you.
Yeah.
Chapter. Wow.
Because I think I archived a post that I posted like 2 days ago, and it was like me smiling, and I wrote, whoever's like having a burnout, fixated hard for a cause, I hope you'll be worth it. But it was just me smiling when I was so stressed. I was stressed like trying to organize this, but I was just like, oh, it doesn't fit my vibe. So let me not. So I archived it. So I think because I'm just so sick of seeing like highlight reels. At the moment in my life, I'd rather not post something that might burden even more to the highlight reels on the feed of more people. Because I think when I posted for like the first time talking about stress and stuff, I hoped that I posted for someone, at least whoever sees it scrolling on their feed, to at least see some authenticity, see a little bit of truth. But I don't know if you would agree, but I think the Nepali community is not yet ready for the authenticity and the rawness.
Yeah, that's true.
And I wish for more openness, and I wish for more open arms.
I mean, there's so much judgment in our community. That's why, like.
Yeah, I'll be like, oh, toilet ke Mahabharat lekdechas. Like so dramatic. It wasn't necessary. Why do you need people to like do some research on you like this?
Oh, I see. Yeah.
But yeah, each to their own. But I think we've come to our end of our time. But it's been so nice to capture this consciousness of yours and your state of mind.
Thank you.
How did you find it?
Yeah, I found it really good. It was really fun. Thank you.
Yeah, I wish you all the best in all of your creative pursuits.
Thank you.
And I wish you the strength to forever stay true.
Yeah, we'll see.
And keep it real.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Bye.